to be with us on the telecast. Iran's President Masoud Pezeshkian has said his country's response to the continued Israeli aggression will be more devastating as fighting in West Asia continued. He also said that his country will not halt nuclear activity under any circumstances. This has come after Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi held talks with European counterparts in an attempt to prevent the escalation of the ongoing situation. Brian, we've just heard these statements coming at this point of time, and of course the European Union is also involved. When we look at the clarity that Donald Trump has established at the Israel-Iran war, how exactly Iran is left with the options to understand the kind of response that it has to be in a measured manner retaliate to aggressions by the Israel? All right. Now, in fact, this is a big statement that has come as the ongoing conflict raged on for over a week. All right, Brian joins me once back on the broadcast. Brian, what does Iran now look at while we speak of the options that the Iranian regime is left with, as that's a big warning by the US President Donald Trump?
Well, clearly now Iranian President Masoud Pezeshkian has issued a stark warning also that was given and declared that any continued Israeli strike action would meet with an even more devastating response from Tehran. And this also comes in response with the hostilities in the region that persist into the 10th day into the war escalation that have been going on, barrages that have been going on. And even the president clearly said that the response could be to a continued aggression of the Zionist regime will be more devastating. And he even said during this very phone conversation also that he was having with Macron. Now, the Iranian president also made it very clear that Tehran has no clear intention of backing down on its nuclear ambition, and said that they are ready to discuss and cooperate and build confidence in the field of peaceful nuclear facility. He also says he does not agree to reduce any nuclear activities to zero under any circumstances, and this also follows after this very high-level meeting and high-level diplomatic efforts also that was made by Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi, who has been holding talks with European counterparts. But to that, even the Trump administration, Trump even yesterday said that the European counterparts could do nothing, and the European Union will not be the one stopping this very war-like situation. Even Araghchi also made his foreign visit also since Israeli airstrikes began that very time, and even accused Tel Aviv of trying to sabotage the ongoing nuclear diplomacy between both Iran and US. And clearly, after what US President has said it, he has come out and publicly said that US was the one striking those nuclear bases. So yes, now the picture comes very clear somewhere. Yes.
Well, absolutely. In fact, Brian, these are the details that will be tracked in a very closed manner at this point of time, as US has openly made it clear. And that's a big warning for Iran to take. But as we move forward, let me also introduce my guest on the broadcast, Mr. Major General Gigi Dwivedi. Thank you, sir, for being with us on the telecast. Appreciate your presence. Now, Sunday morning, first address as United States President Donald Trump has made it clear and also made a very strict and a very clear warning to Iran. How do you look at this position by US President Donald Trump at this point of time as compared to the dilemma that has been projected for quite some time now?
Well, first and foremost, I think US involvement was anticipated. It was only a matter of time, because the way the Operation Rising Lion has gone on for about 10 days, it was apparent that Israelis, though they have been able to degrade the Iranian nuclear capability, but they have not been able to hit the main, enrichment, centrifuge enrichment facilities at Fordow, Natanz, and at Isfahan, nuclear sites. So therefore, it was, Trump was preparing for it. He had given very clear warnings to the Iranian leadership that either you surrender unconditionally or you will have to face the consequences. And he also gave an off-ramp offer to the Iranians that he gives them 2 weeks. But that actually didn't happen because I think Mr. Trump knows that how Iranians negotiate, and these negotiators are gone till cows come home. So he has taken on this action, and it has a couple of consequences. First and foremost, there will be escalation because Iranians will not sit back. Iranians have some options to strike back at U.S. assets in this region through the proxies. They can also close Strait of Hormuz, which is carries about 21% of the global LNG and about 14 million barrels of oil flow every day. The point I'm trying to make is that now the operations have gone to next level, and Americans have gone in for precision strike as was expected. In fact, I just did an article yesterday in the first post, and I had highlighted that until Americans intervene, they will not be able to degrade the capability of Iranians, that is the nuclear capability. Yeah.
Major General G.G. Dwivedi, in fact, that's very rightly put, but at the same time, it's a big message. USS said that it has bombed Iran, and these are 3 nuclear sites which the US President Donald Trump has declared. And after taking the names, this is also a very critical time for Iran. It has been made clear that either peace will be restored or there will be far more greater damage than anybody has seen in the past few weeks, and that is what Iran should be cautious of. How do you look forward for Iran now to weigh the options and to also carefully and very critically analyze the kind of response that it has to be given to United States right now, and as the conflict heats up, what could be potentially now the next step by Iran?
Well, Iran definitely is in a very tight corner, and I am sure they also would have expected, because after all, President Trump is very unpredictable, and when he takes decisions, they are very, very bold decisions. The point is that Iran has been on it or enriching the uranium. They had done it up to 60%. They were moving towards having the capability. Now the choice was either to allow it or to actually degrade or destroy the capability, and that's why this Operation Rising Lion was launched. But the point I'm trying to make again is that in any military operations, either you have got your mission objectives or there's a stalemate, and it appears that Israelis were almost getting to stalemate until Americans stepped in, and that's what exactly America has done, that they are hit very precisely the 3 important Iranian nuclear installations that are fought on the Natanz and Isfahan. And now is the pause. The pause, again, President Trump has said that this is the time now for Iranians to come to the negotiation table. The point I'm trying to make is it has been all along President Trump and Israeli effort to have Iran on the negotiation table, but on their terms. And on their terms means that now they will be able to impose such restriction and restraint that Iran doesn't have the capability of developing the nuclear weapons. And second point was, we have been always talking about the regime change. I think for time being, that is not on the cards, but that is again a aim plus as far as both Israel and America are concerned. And the last point you said rightly, that what will be the reaction? Of course, as I said earlier, that Iran will escalate. They will not sit back. It has the capability. They will use their proxies like Hezbollah, Houthis, Hamas to strike at the American assets. America has about more than a dozen bases in this region. And secondly, they have the capability to strike back on the economic terms and block the Strait of Hormuz, as I said, which is a huge, exit or which is a huge source of oil flowing out from the region.
Well, absolutely. In fact, thank you very much, Major General G.G. Dwivedi, at this point of time for being with us on the telecast, and now joining